Follow show presented by DraftKings. I'm Ros Gold-Onwude, and I am coming to you from our Los Angeles studios. And today we are joined by a very special guest, near and dear to my heart, okay? She is one of the top voices in women's college basketball and is a host, reporter, and analyst for all of women's basketball, including NCAA March Madness's digital content. She's a part of Ion Studios' WNBA coverage and is even an NCAA tournament bracketologist. How cool is that? My little sis, Autumn Johnson, joins the show. What's up, sis?
What's up, sis? Come on, intro.
Yes. I mean, it's so impressive, all of the things that you are and how big and powerful your resume is, because, you know, I'm just so proud of you. Like, you are the epitome of resilience, of hard work paying off, of conviction. And this is what I want to do. I want to be a broadcaster. And also at times building your own table, you know, to take a seat at. And, you know, I remember you early in your career, Autumn, just asking a whole bunch of questions, you know, looking for shadow opportunities. And so to see where you are now, I truly couldn't be prouder.
Oh my gosh, thank you, sis. This means the world to me because this is the first time we've been able to work together. And you were one of the first people ever, one of my first mentors, one of the first people that I've been able to shadow. So to be able to have this moment with you, it's incredible. I always know I can hit you up whenever and call my big sis. So I just love it. I love it. I love sharing the space with you. Thank you, Roz. I'm excited to get into these topics today and talk some hoops.
Oh, you're the best. All the feels. I'm sending you a hug,
all the feels.
Girl.
I love
all the
this.
feels.
I needed this.
Yes, me too. Oh my gosh. And actually, with you on the show, there's no way to do a show with Autumn Johnson and not have it revolve around women's college basketball, which you have honestly become the face of in broadcasting. And so with that, we are going to do a high-level women's college basketball preview on Good Follow Show. And here is today's menu. So we will be previewing the biggest contenders, new look rosters, top players, and some sleeper teams that Autumn says we should watch out for. So Autumn, let's start right at the top, okay?
All right.
The reigning champs, UConn, Azzi Fudd, Sarah Strong. They even brought in Serah Williams from Wisconsin, a transfer. This is kind of like at the core of everything that they're doing. Let's keep it simple here. Do you feel like UConn has what it takes to run it back?
Absolutely. I actually think UConn can take it all the way. They have a tough non-con schedule as well. I believe they could be undefeated this season. And yes, it is a new era. They are turning the page without Paige Beckers, who was the heartbeat of that championship team. And when you lose someone like that, yes, you're losing a lot of scoring, leadership. You talk about poise, someone who always meets the moment. That's hard to replace, but I love the depth that the Huskies have. Like you just mentioned, all those incredible names. They have size, they have skill, they have experience, depth, you name it. Headlined by Sarah Strong and Azzi Fudd. I feel like they have the keys now. This is their team. We saw Azzi Fudd be the tournament MOP and she upped her 3-point percentage. Adding Sarah Strong, though, to me is the game changer because she didn't have the limelight in a sense at Wisconsin. You know, they didn't have
Serah
as
Williams.
much. Yes, Serah Williams, excuse me. Serah Williams, she didn't have that limelight on her because of Wisconsin's lack of success. But coming over to UConn, I think it's the perfect success as I'm combining both of their names with Sarah Strong. I think they're going to be incredible in that front court and Kaylee Heckle as well. We'll see how they look with their new identity and these new look pieces.
Yeah, actually, one way to think about it is Sarah squared. I'll see myself out.
That.
I'll see myself out.
No, I like that because now I won't get confused. I'm like, they're going to be a duo together and let me not combine their names. But Sarah Square, we can rock with that. I like that.
I think that's catchy. UConn fans, let us know. But, you know, to talk about Serah Williams, this is somebody coming out of Wisconsin who is great around the rim, can help with rebounding. She's 6'4", certainly helps with the size and size. This is someone who averaged 19 points, 10 rebounds, 2.5 assists, 2 blocks, 1 steal last season for Wisconsin. Yeah. That's what's coming into the defending champions. And, you know, with Sarah Strong, I mean, that'll be a formidable front court. It's just, I'm just so impressed with her freshman year, her poise as a freshman, her stoic nature, super mature. And oftentimes as freshmen, people really struggle on the defensive end. She was great on defense. She was really good on offense too. Like, can you imagine season 2? So I'm like, I get why there are some people who are saying Sarah Strong's the best player in college basketball right now, it's bold. She's a sophomore, and you got Azzi Fudd on your team. You know, so were you surprised to see some of that, or you feel like does this revolve more around Serah, or is it a combination, Azzi, Serah, whatever?
I think it speaks to both. I think both can exist. And Lauren Betts is along that list as well of the greatest in the nation. And Sarah Strong right now is sitting at the top, rightfully so. What she was able to do in her freshman year, it seemed like she's already been here on both ends. How she was able to quietly and dominantly make her name known in her first year. It's only going to be up from here in Geno Auriemma's system and how she's going to continue to evolve on both ends. I'm excited to see the growth. She's getting Maya Moore comparisons as well. Her inside out attack, it's going to be scary. And I really think to make that push, it's going to be on the back of Sarah Strong along with the Azzi Fudd. So that's why I think both are going to coexist.
And don't forget, one thing that really stood out to me from Media Day with Azzi Fudd was just her gratitude and also the confidence that comes with, she was like, I've just now put together a full healthy season, a full healthy year. Like she was like, this time last year at Media Day or whatever it was, I was just getting healthy. Like, so now that you can put some consecutive like seasons together of healthiness, remember what that did for Paige Beckers. Like that's going to, I'm excited to see a very strong mechanical shooter in Azzi Fudd maybe show even more depth and perhaps looseness to her game as well. But one more thing I'll say, because you mentioned Geno, there's the UConn way. Even when I was playing ball against UConn at Stanford, there's just something that's consistent over the decades with Geno Auriemma at the helm. It's UConn pace, UConn execution, UConn conditioning. And that showed itself in the Final Four, where they pretty much easily powered their way through all of their opponents. And there was just clearly a gap. So let's move on and see if other teams have closed that gap. Let's go with the team that they saw in the championship final last season. It was South Carolina, Dawn Staley and those Gamecocks. Just to set up the scene for South Carolina, they lost 6 of their 8 top scorers last season due to injuries, transfers, or graduating. For reference, returners coming back, Joyce Edwards, Youngin building off of about 13 points per game, Tessa Johnson back, and Raven is back for a 5th year as well. And I forgot, I buried the lead. Ta'Niya Latson has transferred in from Florida State. She averaged 25 points per game last season. So what do you make of all of this and the impact Ta'Niya Latson will have? Probably the most coveted transfer of all of the offseason.
Well, we were just talking about UConn, and quite frankly, they exposed South Carolina, that need for that consistent perimeter scoring in that 23-point NCAA championship loss. And what do? You go out and get the nation's best and leading scorer in Ta'Niya Latson. She averaged about 25 points per game. Like, she isn't just a scorer. She's a bucket getter at all costs. And her ability to just create her own shot, attack off the dribble, finish through contact, that gives Dawn Staley a new dynamic weapon. And I'm excited. Raven Johnson and Ta'Niya Latson already have that chemistry together. They played high school AAU ball together. They've won state championships together. But I think what's intriguing the most and interesting is how she's going to fit in this new system and adapt right away. Because we know Dawn Staley's system, it's built on depth, it's built on defense, it's built on just balance overall and endless rotations. Ta'Niya averaged about 30 minutes per game at Florida State. And so now South Carolina, they don't just rely on one player. They grab from different pieces at all costs and rotate constantly. No one averaged more than 25 minutes per game last year on that roster. So I'm excited to see how she'll evolve to being that solo attack to now a balanced, championship-ready, two-way player that Dawn Staley is going to mold her to be.
That's really well broken down. And, don't forget, too, this is somebody who took 20 shots a game at Florida State. So this is super high volume, in addition to everything you mentioned, where it's like she had to do a lot for Florida State. I think she's going to have to do a lot for South Carolina. And, the thing about Dawn Staley is she's had very different looking rosters over the tenure of greatness that she's began to build at South Carolina. Sometimes it's been about great post play. Sometimes it's been about, great perimeter players. Sometimes she's had rosters that have been absolutely stacked with talent and some with like more limited talent, but she found a way to get the most out of everyone and do it by committee. Even last season's run to the championship game was very much like a by committee unit. And so one of the things that South Carolina has going for them, they have Dawn Staley at the helm. So
never bet against Dawn, ever.
That part.
I will never do it.
But someone who did, through their actions, bet against Dawn Staley? MiLaysia Fulwiley. MiLaysia Fulwiley. She went to LSU. So let's take a look at LSU and MiLaysia Fulwiley. This is one of the biggest storylines in women's college hoops. This is a huge star despite coming off the bench, essentially. This is someone who's been on magazine covers, has gotten a stamp of approval from Stephen Curry. And she's going from South Carolina to LSU from Dawn Staley. She'll be coached by Kim Mulkey. How do you like MiLaysia's fit at LSU?
I love it because LSU is Showtime basketball and MiLaysia Fulwiley is just that, Showtime basketball. So I think she fits perfectly in this system. Fast, quick, her handle is laid with the butter. If you know, she's smooth, she's explosive, she gets to her spots, and just her layup package overall is so fun to watch. For me, the question is, how can MiLaysia keep that creativity and that composure leading the entire offense, because Kim Mulkey is going to ask her to be the point guard and play more on the ball. She was off the ball at South Carolina. So what does that look like for this team with more minutes, more composure, more responsibility and decision making when you think about getting your teammates organized and getting them into their right spots where they're successful? So I think, honestly, this is really good for MiLaysia to be challenged and stretched. But when you pair her with a Flau'Jae Johnson and also Mikaylah Williams, easily this is the most explosive offense in college basketball. And I think they can make a pretty deep run if it clicks right away with MiLaysia Fulwiley running point.
Right. And I think that was the whole point of coming to LSU, is that South Carolina seemingly got really crowded with Raven Johnson coming back for a fifth year and Ta'Niya Latson joining the team. And not to say that it couldn't have worked for her, but I think the whole goal was she wanted to be a more focal point starter and play at that point guard position. And that opportunity showed itself at LSU. And I too think like she had a role that she was really, good at, but also maybe it was the only role presented to her where she would come in and change the game with explosive play, explosive speed, really great going to the rim or in transition, just fast break opportunities. That is a very different skill set than having speed in a half court set or being in charge of running the offense or being somebody who can set up plays, or slow the game down. And we will have the chance to see if she can combine all of that. To your point, real quick, though, some of the biggest names in college basketball are in LSU. What can we expect from Flau'Jae Johnson, who's one of the biggest stars on and off the court, and also Mikaylah Williams as well?
Well, Mikaylah Williams, don't leave her open at all costs. She is a 3-level scorer that can knock it down. Flau'Jae Johnson has an incredible layup package as well, but she's going to be asked to lead this team. This is Flau'Jae's team at the end of the day, and she has that championship experience. They are looking to her to put this team on her back and carry them. So for her last year, her last ride, it's going to be based off of a vocal leader, which she's already had to do as a freshman, coming in right away as a champion. But them meshing together and buying in and trusting other teammates is going to be important. Meshing new pieces together. They got a really great big in Kate Koval, also a great freshman class coming in as well. They're going to be looking at all of these players, first things first, but Flau'Jae Johnson, most importantly, has to be the leader of this team.
We got to take a break. We'll be right back with more Women's College Basketball Preview on Good Follow Show. Welcome back to Good Follow Show. Today's episode is presented by DraftKings. I'm Roz. She is Autumn Johnson and is a great analyst covering women's college basketball as we continue on with our women's college basketball preview show. There's so many teams to talk about, but we are still at the other two teams we haven't even talked about from last season's Final Four. That would be UCLA and Texas and where they're going this season. And for UCLA, personally, Autumn, I feel like they're one of the top contenders for this chip. Like, I feel like they could. I think they're right there. Last year's Final Four, they played against UConn and they lost by 34 points. I mean, there was a clear, maybe it's a gap, but for me, it was more just a learning experience of like what it took to be in the Final Four. There's almost a skill set to that as well. And UConn's experience there showed. It was the first time ever that UCLA had ever been to the Final Four. And coming into this season, there's a lot of loss, but it's interesting. It's all of their freshman class from last year, and then some contributors, London Jones, Janiah Barker, transfer portal, madness. Mm-hmm. But they're stacked with talent, with experience, with veterans. I'm going to just say the names, and then we can get into a discussion. Lauren Betts is arguably the best player in the country, depending on who you ask, and is the reigning defensive player of the year nationally. Kiki Rice, Gabriela Jaquez. They add Gianna Neepkins, who's been, a longtime great contributor in what was the Pac-12 at Utah, coming through the transfer portal. They add Lauren's sister, Sienna Betts. Plus, they have Angela Dugalich back, and healthy Charlize Ledger-Walker will be playing for the Bruins this season. So what do you make your expectations for this UCLA squad?
I love how you brought up last year, obviously coming off of a Final Four for both. I know we'll get into Texas, but for both UCLA and Texas, I really think this is going to be like a dominance over a rival year. Like when you arrive to the moment, what are you going to do? Can you meet the moment? And that all goes back to experience. They have that experience with each other. And yes, UCLA lost a lot, but they also gain a lot. You mentioned Gianna Neepkins. She's a lethal three-point shooter. Charlize Ledger-Walker also gives them another ball handler alongside of a Kiki Rice, who's so explosive and a downhill player. And Gabriela Jaquez, I don't think a lot of people talk about her enough. She's an X factor and unsung hero. And Lauren Betts in size is a problem inside at 6'7", a mismatch nightmare. No one has an answer for her. So this is one of the deepest teams. I'm excited to see who matches up with them in the Big Ten going on, because obviously we saw USC banging with them. Maryland might have something to say about that this year. But this truly could be a year for UCLA's dominance to now put the pieces together last year and really run away with it. So it all goes back to a healthy team, an experienced team now making its push forward coming off that Final Four run.
I think going a long way for UCLA will be depth, experience, and you said it, health. Let's go to Texas. This whole thing's going to revolve around Madison Booker. But this is somebody, a rising junior, last season averaged 16 points, about 7 rebounds on 46% shooting from the field and 40% from three. Efficient shooting. We get it. She's good. But what else is Texas going to be able to bring to the table? Tell us, Autumn.
It has to be scoring, because that's what we saw in the Final Four. We already know it's Texas toughness, Texas fight, Texas defense, but the offense has to catch up with it. And that's something that couldn't meet the moment in the Final Four when they went up against South Carolina. So it's all about maturity and also experience. At the end of the day, where is that perimeter scoring going to come from? They're a downhill team that tries to get into the paint at all costs. Madison Booker is lethal in the mid-range as well. Rory Harmon is back. And I'm expecting maturity from other players with Brianna Preston, Jordan Lee. They had incredible freshman years. So now how can they take that experience and translate it into dominance instead of just arriving, like I said, for UCLA as well?
Those are the teams that we're going to get to in this episode. But I think we've got to take a moment to focus on you. Because you,
okay. That's like me.
You have personally had one of the most exciting journeys in your career covering women's college basketball. And one of the coolest titles on your resume is bracketologist. Autumn Johnson, the bracketologist.
Who would have thought?
Who'd have thought? And there's so few people who are actually put it on their lower third, bracketologist. What is it? How did you become one? And what does it take to do bracketology?
Girl, literally, it came with the job. If I could just be honest with you, I had no idea what this meant and what all went into it. I just remember going after this really cool job with the NCAA, being the face and the head of the women's basketball digital team, covering these incredible athletes and coaches and their stories. But along with it came bracketology, and I did not know what this meant or how to do it. I reached out to LaChina Robinson to try to get some answers, and she connected me with Charlie Cream, who is the expert of all of this. So just finding information and resources to help me provide the best bracket possible and my predictions leading up into Selection Sunday, that's what it came down to be. And it's been a very tedious process, but so rewarding. I've learned so much. I watch games constantly, not just on one conference, but everywhere, mid-majors as well, making sure I have a pulse on everything that's going on with women's basketball. And there's a lot that goes into it, for sure. If you want me to break it down, I can. It's a lot.
What are the methodologies or constraints that you consider when making a bracket?
It starts with resume and metrics and watching games. And that means like net rankings, quad 1 through quad 4 wins, strength of schedule, how you've performed against other tournament caliber teams. You've got 32 automatic conference champions, everyone who wins their conference tournaments, and then the 36 at-large bids that are up for grabs based on overall resume strength and how teams have performed. So once the field is set, you got the 1 through 68, and that determines the seed lines, the regional placement and balance. You're considering travel and geography, avoiding early conference rematches in the first and second round. So you think everything's set, and it's like, no, actually, I got to move everything around because this team has already faced this team. So you're taking a lot into consideration in bracket principles as well to keep things fair. And there's also a human element to it as well, like who's hot at the right time, who's missing key players, injuries, who passes the eye test. There's a lot that goes into it, but it's so much fun. Like when you get to put it together and you see the final bracket, especially when the selection committee releases there, you're like, oh, okay, I was on track. Like we were cooking with something here. It's nice and rewarding for sure.
I will be following Autumn's bracketology.
Please do.
And it's a highly coveted and like I don't know if coveted is the right word, but it's like there's very few people doing this. You're right. Charlie Cream is a longtime bracketologist. And now yourself as an up-and-comer, very, very cool, my good sis. Being part of being a bracketologist, you've got your eyes on some sleeper schools, teams maybe that people should be watching out for. Could you list a couple of those sleeper, keep your eyes on type schools this season?
Like I said, I'm watching all conferences, but mid-majors as well. One mid-major you need to keep your eye on is Richmond. I feel like if they had a different draw last year going up against UCLA, they made a Sweet 16 run. Maggie Dugan and Rachel Olstrom is coming back. They are a dynamic scoring punch together. Oklahoma as well has a 4-out, 1-in system. Reagan Beers is phenomenal and efficient inside. Tennessee, it is year 2 of the Kim Caldwell system. I love that unorthodox kind of system that she runs with the hockey substitutes in and out. And they also have Janiah Barker as well, which is going to be exciting. Ole Miss has Cody McMahon, and you already know Coach O is bringing that defense as well. Maryland, the transfer portal jackpot, and Brenda Freeze always knows a great way to mesh it together. Michigan, Silas Swartz and Olivia Olson, they're sophomores now. We were saying this freshman duo is something serious. They're grown up now and they're ready to make a punch for sure. And the last team I would say is Iowa State. They have a new point guard in Jada Williams and Audie Crooks and Addie Brown. They're so dominant inside. Those are my sleepers. More people need to be talking about them. I'm pretty sure there's more and the season's going to reveal that. But for now, I think their name needs to be in the conversations a little bit more.
Ooh, thorough. Love that. Teams to watch, sleeper teams from bracketologist Autumn Johnson. We absolutely will keep an eye on that list of teams to watch. And it has just been a pleasure to kind of have this women's college basketball preview show on Good Follow with you. Thank you for joining us, sis. You are doing great. Keep crushing it.
Thank you, sis. I will be back whenever you need me to talk hoops. We are here. College basketball is back. I'm so excited.
Let's go. We are back. Bring it on.